Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow Room. Yeah, oh boy, we're going backwards through the alphabet, and we're now in the MEs. There's a lot of MEs, actually, and they may take us a while to get through. But we're going to start with Meyerbeer. And some strange Meyerbeer, because my not strange Meyerbeer is upstairs in the regular collection. But, you know, Opera Rara, that fabulous, fabulous label that was funded by the Peter Moores Foundation, no longer, unfortunately. The Peter Moores Foundation has used up its sources of funding, actually. And they did a few weird Meyerbeers, early Meyerbeer. You know, Meyerbeer is known for his late grand operas. He sort of invented the French grand opera concept. So we had Le Prophète and Robert le Diable and the Huguenots and things like that. And Denora, the dumbest opera ever written. Well, no, the best opera about the dumbest character ever to appear in an opera. But that's a whole other story. I did a video about it. But here we have Margarita Donju right here. I mean, these are big, long suckers. It's a melodrama semi-seria. It's a semi-seria in 2 acts with the London Philharmonic under David Parry, with Annick Massis, Bruce Ford, Daniela Barcelona, Alastair Miles, Fabio Previati, a whole bunch of famous people. And it's very, very interesting. I enjoyed these things. I really did. There were a bunch of these that were just oodles of fun. And then Il Crociato in Egitto. I have the score to this. It's in the other room over there. Because these things were published, actually. The Crusaders in Egypt. And let's see, with Ian Platt, Yvonne Kenny, Diana Montague, Della Jones, Bruce Ford, Linda Kitchen, and Ugo Benelli, with David Parry again in the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, and a cast of thousands. 4 CDs for this one. And how many were this? 3 CDs for this one. I mean, these are big, big suckers. I mean, this is Italian. Some of them are Italian. Some of them are... No, these are all Italian, I think. But they're from his early period when he was learning his trade. You know, he was a pupil of... Who was he a pupil of? Meyerbeer. He was a pupil of that crazy guy, the Abbé Vogler, I think was one of his teachers. And Weber may have been another, you know, because he was originally like German. And wow, I mean, it was really quite the interesting thing. There's a critical edition of Meyerbeer's stuff that's being worked on now. And let's see, we'll see what comes out. It's extremely expensive. I remember I was talking to Philip Gossett, you know, the Rossini and Verdi scholar, before he passed away, about it. He said, oh God, they're never going to finish it. It's so much work, because these pieces didn't have single existing manuscripts. They had just performance parts from all the different places where they were played, and all the cuts and rearrangements and additions and subtractions, and coming to a definitive edition is of these thousands and thousands of pages that are scattered all over the place. It's going to be quite the thing. But they did these too, and they're wonderful. They're definitely wonderful. And then we have, in the end, Marcel Meyer. Well, I have one of these upstairs and one of these downstairs, because you can't have too much Marcel Meyer. She was just one of the great French pianists of her era. These are her recordings, 1925 to 1957, 17 CDs, music by Albéniz, Bach, Couperin, Chabrier, Debussy, Esplat, Faya, Haydn, Milhaud, Mozart, Poulenc, Rameau. Her Rameau, which is oh so special. We've talked about that separately. It's just wonderful. Ravel, Rossini, Scarlatti, Schubert, Richard Strauss, and Stravinsky. You just got to have a Marcel Meyer box. I mean, you know, you have to. They're just beautiful. So there's that. And then we have this Belgian guy who's actually a lot of fun to listen to. His name is Arthur Meulemans. He lived from 1884 to 1966, and there are some lovely works here. Well, here's romantic Finnish symphonic music by Flemish composers. He was a Flem, and the work here in question is his Symphony Number 7, Swanfen, a Heathland symphony, This also has music by Peter Benoit and Ludovic Meulemans and Jeff Van Hoof, who's a kind of interesting character as well. I had this sort of Flemish phase when all this stuff was coming out on Marco Polo, and it was very, very interesting to hear. But this is the nice disc. This is the one you really ought to hear if you want to give Meulemans a shot. It's got his second and third symphonies, which are, lovely works, short and charming, a tone poem called May Night, and Pliny's Fountain. Now, this is the thing. It's kind of like a Respighi Fountains of Rome knockoff sort of thing. Symphonic sketches. There's Summer Morning at Pliny's Fountain, At Twilight, and Night Festival. Charming, lovely, beautifully scored, fun to listen to. This is a real discovery, this guy. And if you have a chance to give it a listen, try it. I think you'll find it extremely enjoyable. So that's this batch. It's a smallish batch because next up is Meyerbeer. Yeah, and I didn't want to have him bleed over into other composers. He's going to get a bunch of videos all to himself because I have like a boatload of Meyerbeer back there. So we're going to do that next. In the meantime, keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.